Hi everyone, my name is Ali Ford. This is my presentation on the Japanese bronze mirror for Advanced History Studies, portfolio assignment number 1. My objectives for this presentation are for the viewer to be able to identify what the Japanese bronze mirror was and its significance to the Silk Roads, understand the spiritual and cultural significance connected to the Japanese bronze mirror, demonstrate an understanding of the time period in which the Japanese bronze mirror was created and used, and explain how the Japanese bronze mirror relates to religious unruliness of this time in history. So in this presentation, my goals are to explain who made the Japanese bronze mirror and who used it, what it is, when it was made and when it was found, where the Japanese bronze mirror was made and where it was found, why it was made, and how it was used. I'll also discuss the time period of the Silk Roads history in which the Japanese bronze mirror was created and used, the Japanese bronze mirror's relation to lectures that we have gone throughout the course of the semester, and a couple of relations to the Lu book that the Japanese bronze mirror has, and its significance to the Silk Road and why we should care. So into the who, what, when, where, why, and how of the Japanese bronze mirror. The Japanese bronze mirror was created in the year 1100 in Kyoto, Japan, in bronze casting workshops. This mirror was created by the Chinese for the use of ladies and gentlemen preparing themselves for public appearances. And it also held a great spiritual meaning. This Japanese bronze mirror was used in courtly ritual and display, along with use to talk to the gods. A quote from the BBC article states that through them we can enter a world of spirits and indeed speak to the gods. So this held a very cultural, spiritual, religious meaning for the Japanese of this time. The mirror was found in the beginning of the 12th century at Mount Hirogu, Japan, when engineers were building a bridge over a pond. They drained the pond and found this mirror along with 600 other metal mirrors at the bottom of the pond. So these mirrors were sacrificed to this sacred pond so that they may experience a sacred uprising and be allowed to talk to the gods. So the mirror would have come from an elite, wealthy lady or woman and given to someone to sacrifice at the pond. So what it is a circular reflective metal that has been polished so much so that reflections can be easily seen. It's about the size of a saucer, and this one in particular has no handle, but it would have had a loop for hanging on a wall or at a vanity. This particular bronze mirror has cranes depicted on the back of the mirror. In the Japanese culture, these birds mate for life, so they are a symbol of marital fidelity and a message of enduring love. So that on top of the religious aspects of the mirror are where it holds its importance. And yeah, that covers this slide. All right, so the time period of the Silk Road history that this Japanese bronze mirror would have been created and used would be from the years of about 800 to 1200. And I've labeled these times of religious unruliness. And in lecture 6 that we have gone over thus far, it is described as a transformation of the Silk Roads. So during these times, in the year 845, Tang Emperor Wuzong places a banishment of foreign religion from China along with other religions. And also in the years of 1096 through 1204, were the Christian Crusaders' attempts and failure to take permanent control of the Holy Lands. And through this, it spurs their interest in trade and exploration. So with my point here with these times of religious unruliness is that though we see all of this religious upheaval throughout the Silk Roads during this time, these mirrors were still in use and held a great value in Japan. And I believe that this shows us the Japanese importance of spirituality, the importance they placed on their spirituality, religion, beliefs, and values, and how they aimed to uphold these, even though countries surrounding them were fighting and there was just religious unruliness. So, to relate the Japanese bronze mirror to class lectures that we had thus far throughout the semester, the lecture I'd like to relate them to is Lecture 6, Transformations of the Silk Roads. So first, the sumptuary laws. So these mirrors didn't necessarily have sumptuary laws placed on them, but I believe that this topic shows us the people's placement of importance on status and wealth, and because these mirrors would only have been held by the wealthy and elite. So kind of tying that into the sumptuary laws and their emphasis and important place on status and class at this time. Also, this lecture talks about technological advances, mostly related to the battle, but I want to relate it to the movement of technology along the Silk Roads, as these Japanese bronze mirrors, as all of the mirrors came to Japan from China along the Silk Road in the early years of the Silk Road, and I believe that that's important as they're material items, but they also hold a great importance of spirituality, and that traveled along the Silk Road as well as material items. Relating the Japanese bronze mirror to sources from the Liu book, the first document I'd like to discuss is the Liu Shu and Others, the Old Tang History, from the years 941 to 945. So this document portrays the conflict between the Tang Emperor Wuzong and the Buddhist establishment, as well as other foreign religions, and it's recorded as a series of chronological decrees. So as discussed previously, I believe that this religious unruliness shows that, and these mirrors show that Japan was focusing on their spirituality at this time. The second document from the Lu book that I'd like to discuss is Ibn Jabbar from the year 1185. So this document portrays observations of hostilities between Christian crusaders of Western Europe and the Muslim powers in the Holy Lands. Though these Christian crusaders and Muslims were at conflict, they still allowed trade and thus allowed their beliefs to be spread along the Silk Road along with monetary valued items. So again, it just shows how the rest of the countries along the Silk Road were struggling to maintain their cultures and beliefs and fight for them, as Japan upheld theirs throughout the use of the Japanese bronze mirror and other spiritual items. Okay, significance to the Silk Roads and my conclusion. So, as I discussed, it shows a main point is that it shows Japan's strength and importance placed on their spirituality, as these mirrors are a spiritual aspect for them to talk to the gods. But it also demonstrates the spread and movement of religious views, wealth and status, along with history throughout the Silk Roads, as there was a movement of all of these items not only through monetary merchandise, such as silks, but there was also the spread of religious views and religious artifacts, such as the mirror. And my conclusion is that these mirrors held high religious status to the Japanese people. And that is all I have. I hope you guys learned something and can use this in future studies. Thank you.